Yes guys, what's up? Homemade Madness, back at it with an epic new project. You've read the title, you know what's going on. I'm building a jet ski. Completely from scratch. So over the last few months I've been working really hard, doing research and engineering this thing, but now the plans are finally complete. So hereby I'd like to proudly present to you the Homemade Madness MADSKI. And as far as I could tell, this will be YouTube's first fully homemade jet ski. And the most time consuming thing about engineering this thing was simply making it look good. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. I designed this thing to be easily makeable by pretty much everyone. All you really need to build one is a workshop, a jigsaw, a sander and some basic woodworking knowledge. And if you're already interested in building this thing yourself, you can find a full set of plans at low cost on my website. The plans will take you through the building process step by step. And the parts are all made in such a way that they fit into each other precisely. Now on the website you can find two versions. The one I'm building will have an inboard engine and a homemade jet drive, which I'll build in a future episode. But building a jet drive and connecting it to an inboard engine can be a bit difficult and expensive. That's why there's a second version available, which is slightly modified to fit an outboard engine. This way you can easily build a jet ski using the plans and then simply put like a 20 to 50 horsepower engine behind it. And believe me, if you do it, you will have all the fun building and driving your own jet ski and look way better than the commonly available outboard motor jet skis. Best thing is, you can build this thing for as little as $1000 in building materials, and if you start now, you can easily finish it before the summer, because using the plans, you can build this thing in a matter of days. So the MADSKI is quite a big vessel, way bigger than the original two-stroke jet skis or wave runners, and it can easily carry up to 3 people. It's got a really big engine room, meaning it can fit pretty much any engine. Now I'll be putting a 1200cc superbike engine in mine. It should make around 170 horsepower, but it could also easily fit something like a Miata engine. So all the parts needed in the plans are cut from plywood sheeting. Now to cut these parts, I first thought about having them CNC milled or laser cut, but I didn't really feel that would fit the fully homemade style, and also it would be pretty expensive, so I came up with something else, using 1-to-1 paper templates, which you can glue to the plywood so you can easily cut the parts with a jigsaw. And the best thing is you can have these papers printed by a local company for as little as 50 bucks. So in this first part of the build series I'll be building the hull. The main hull design was based on the latest Yamaha Wave Runner, as you can see. And it's a pretty flat bottom hull, which means it's very stable and will get on a plane real easily. So the framing of the hull will be built from 18mm plywood sheets in standard 4x8 foot sizes. Then I'll cover this framing with 9mm sheets, and after some fiberglassing later we will have the hull, which is basically just a fun little boat. Now without further ado, let's start building.
That was the first 80mm sheet done. Most of the hull pieces are here, but not all. So let's do the next sheet. Okay, so little update, looking pretty good. So we've had this step and now we're at this point, as you can see. So next up, the first real truss, which will go somewhere, I think, in this one. And then it's getting really exciting because all the trusses can go up. So I'll start with this one and then put on all the trusses and it will look pretty good. So I'm using this polyurethane glue which can fill gaps and is real strong, so it's really important to properly glue all these connections because that's where the real strength will come from. So really use enough glue, and you don't have to use a fancy electric gun like this one, just a normal one will do. But I have it, so might as well use it. So yeah, looking pretty good. This assembly is going very fast. I've only been at it for like an hour and it's already looking pretty good. So next up, all the trusses, and then it will really start looking like a hull. Okay, so that's the hull framing done. I think it looks very good. It's a lot bigger than I was expecting, but well, that's what it is. It took me about maybe 2 hours to make this. So next thing to do is add the outside sheeting. And for that I have this 9mm wood. So I think I'll hang this frame in the crane to make room, and then start cutting this stuff into the shapes I need for the side, and then put them on. And then afterwards we can put fiberglass on it, and then we have basically a boat. so I got all my 9mm thickness pieces cut. Now let's see if I can close this hull. Starting with this piece over here. Somewhat like this. Okay, so first sheet is on. Looks pretty good actually. And I used the screws to pull it to the framing, and the glue will actually do the holding. So looking pretty good so far. Now let's do the front one, which is that one. Going to be a bit harder because it needs to bend quite sharp. Let's see if I can do it. So first layer is on, looking pretty good. Sharp bend here, but I managed to get it. So let's do the rest of it. Okay, sheeting is on, looking pretty good. Now next I'm going to use this stuff, which is polyester fiber bondo, to fill all these seams and make it way stronger, and also smooth out some little things like this. And then after that's done, sand it down and put on fiberglass. So quite a lot of sanding and bondoing later, but it's all looking pretty good now. Got it nice and smooth. And also this stuff is really great for filling in these edges and making it very strong. And next up is fiberglass, which I have over here. So I'm gonna put this on here and then roll it over with polyester. And then we have a boat. Let's do it. Okay, so a little update time. Got the hull sanded down and mounted these stabilization strips. Now they are to keep the craft stable at high speed and also to keep the water from splashing out this way when you're on the plane. So needless to say, these things are very important. And I'm not sure if it's better to mount them now or before fiberglassing, because now I have to do this again. So anyways, they need to be mounted at 30 centimeters from the center line until you meet this line, and then you can bend them along this line. So that means they're nice and parallel at the end and taper inward a little bit at the front to catch the water. So now I'm going to fiberglass these two over, make them nice and strong, and then we'll paint the hull and put it in the water, see if it floats. Well, looking pretty good. Next part it will be looking more like a jet ski because we'll be building the top half. So thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next part.